as someone who is a narcissistic asshole, like someone who just craves the power and the attention that's given by being an authority figure or having a voice that people listen to, I know how these folks think. I know how they think. And
Okay.
if you
That was
crave that,
so dark for a second.
no, it's like
I liked
know,
it. I mean, that was cool.
right. I know
I
what that
get
was.
it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know what
No,
they're
I
up
mean,
to. And so
points were made.
there are healthy ways to channel that type of personality, and
Exactly.
there are sinister ways to channel it. And the sinister way is to start a cult, or is to
Don't start cults.
don't start,
people.
or be a pastor. Listen, like
Or to
this is what I'm
slide your
saying.
cult into mainstream religion. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I feel the same way.
They're hiding in plain sight, especially with the title, everything. I don't know.
Well, I don't
Fundamentalist,
feel radically different about leaders of mainstream religion. I don't, because I see the psychological manipulation and the illusions of grandeur that come along with it. I mean, listen, like, who the fuck
I
do
don't
you
know.
think you
I
are?
would really, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I would really like to believe that there's like a lot of churches out there that are just people being together and like believing in the same thing and believing in it. I like to leave space for them.
Right. I guess I don't want to overstep it here and say that every pastor is some it's hard word to say. Some egomaniac. That's an easier word. And who only has dark thoughts and evil intentions. Of course, yeah, that's not true. But I am always suspicious. Same with youth pastors.
I am always suspicious. I'm with you there.
I'm always suspicious. I'm suspicious of a lot more people. Look up. In fact, Kayla, hold on. Let's do a little break here. Hold on. Let me see if my intuitions are correct. They always are.
They always are.
They always are. They rarely let me down. Oh,
you've proven that to be true.
And they didn't this time either, of course. I don't know why.
What you got?
I don't know why I bother even asking sometimes. Let's see. I can pull this bad boy up here. I hate how many ads. The internet is just unusable. Like, you remember when the internet used to be fun? You used to hop on the internet and there was like 40 different websites you go play around. And everyone goes to the same 3 websites, and then or the same 3 apps. And no one, like, web surfing used to be an actual. What am I doing here? Okay, hold on. But now
used to code our MySpace profile pages.
Yes, it was fun, right? And now it's I guess I'll open TikTok. I guess I'll open Google or YouTube, or that's it. And that only a couple apps we use.
I'll bounce back and forth between them.
Right? Yeah, and it's just and now whenever you go to an actual website, it's just filled with ads all over the place and it's unreadable. But okay, so these are, in the Forbes magazine, the top 10 jobs that attract psychopaths. So,
let me see this list.
All right. So,
wow.
Wait.
Wow, media number 3. Wow.
All right. So number 1 is CEO. No shock there. See, I hate this ad here, right? Like, it just throws off the entire thing. 2 is lawyer.
The aesthetic of it.
Right. 3 is media. And listen, I mean, that's what I say all the time. Like, and then sales, you have got to be a stone cold psychopath to love sales. Sales pays a lot because it takes a certain person to ever actually do this. Like, going up to people and begging them to buy a product, lying to them if you have to, being told no 99 straight times, just hoping for that one yes. No, that's just
okay. Well, you'll appreciate this as a fellow Scorpio and who's someone who had just ranted about having narcissistic tendencies, which we have talked about having that shared trait in the past. I spent most of my career in retail sales, and I was one of the best. Yeah, I loved it. I mean, that was why I got to go to Boston. That's why I've gotten to go to so many places that I've been. I was there with them in Kansas City, Dallas, but
Your Honor, the defense rests.
You might be on to something.
Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about. That a lot of people cannot do that. Like, their ego can't handle it, or their feelings, because essentially you have to turn off that human emotion of being terrified of rejection, because it's going to happen all the time. And if you can do that, then you're going to crush it in sales. But most people
have to tell me no 3 times. That's like what general. I feel like everyone knows that in sales. Like the first 2 no's were like they didn't really mean it. Like
They
you
didn't
got
mean
3
that. Yeah.
no's
No does not always mean no. We all
before
know
you
this.
back
And
off.
yeah, I knew a guy who I was in the army with, and he ended up going into pharmaceutical sales. And I was telling him how like that's just how awful that would be and everything, like going to these doctors and asking them to buy pharmaceutical equipment. And it's like, you want to buy this? And he says no. And he says, they tell me to eat shit, and I come back the next day with a shit-eating grin, just waiting for them to buy that shit and everything. So yeah, you got to be able to do that kind of shit. All right, so surgeon. Obviously, surgeons are wildly known for this because you essentially have to treat human bodies like cars. You just slice them open and tear them apart. You kind of have that tendency. Journalist, police officer, clergy. Clergy, number 8. Number 8 is clergy. That job attracts a ton of psychopaths. Chefs, which I wouldn't have guessed if they didn't have these TV shows about chefs and how wild and insane.
That feels so random to me too.
Yeah. But I think of every chef show I've watched, they do seem pretty psychopathic.
Like intense.
Yeah. And then civil servant. Civil servant, I believe, because a lot of civil servants are prior military, and I can kind of see that. But yeah, anyway, my suspicion was that clergy member was on there because I remember, I'm going way off track. We only covered one guy. It's been 37 minutes, so I'm sorry, Kayla. But I remember when I realized this about myself. And listen, folks, that's important here. You have to know who you are. Know your strengths. That's pretty easy.
True.
Right. You figure out your strengths pretty early on, but knowing your weaknesses is just as important. And knowing
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Knowing your character flaws and how they coincide. So I remember when I first realized about my massive ego and everything. It's when I was in college and I was giving a speech to the student body. And I don't remember what it was for. It doesn't matter. But I remember talking and I raised my hand to do something. And then I moved my hand and I saw 1,000 heads follow my hand. I was like, whoa. It hit me. I was like, wow, the feeling. I still remember that feeling. I loved it. I fucking loved it. But I thought about it and I was like, well, why did I like that so much? Because if you put your hand in front of somebody and move it, they're going to move it. That's not, all that weird. But then I thought about it. What that showed was not only were they in front of me, they were actually paying attention to what I said. All of them. Because you've been in audience before, you said, you're not giving a shit what the speaker says. I moved it and they thought, they were captivated by what I was saying. And it's like, man, you have that kind of power just in moving your hand. Imagine what else you could do. And so that's how these folks are. These folks who are attracted to like these large crowds.
So just for context,
yeah. If I decided to use my powers for evil, I mean, I'd be an Avengers level threat. Like it would be a bad time. Okay. Yes. So that's why I don't trust these folks because I'm too much like them. But anyway, let's